Well, folks, it's almost Halloween. And, we don't do much celebrating the mini holidays, but I got some spooky old Toyota bones here. What we're going to do is, well, my thing. Let's get all the nasty off of this old, otherwise perfectly good iron, clean them up as well as possible. Maybe hit the rattle to a few pieces to make some things interesting looking up under here. Hey, I've got some black, folks. Don't worry, don't worry. You know I can't make nothing shiny, though. Something has to be popping. It's okay. We're going to make it cool. Let's get what little brake cleaner I got in the brush and clean up some scabby old shit and make it pretty. The old adage is true. Always got to spend a little money to make a little money. So I cruise the Trofeo up to the homeless despot. And we're up here getting what we need. So mineral spirits, that'll make a little cheaper work of some of this than brake cleaner will on this particular application. I can soak some things and give them the shake. I got myself, I hope that fits my die grinder. It plugged into their die grinder, so I think it will. We'll use air to do some of the work here. And for some of these undercar components, we're going to try something a little different. I got a textured metallic black. It should hold up, and that should look good for things like control arms. It's kind of rough, but it's going to have some sparklies in it, so I'm excited for that. So let's get back to the house, clean and paint some more shit. All right, we're making good progress, and that wire wheel sure is making quick work of some things. So I got the barbecue grill high heat on my exhaust shield. That'll never be perfect, but, look a hell of a lot better than the leopard spots it had. That's a little bit bright and shiny there. But I'm happy. It looks a lot better than Crypt Keeper Brown. And here's my bushing shackles, which they ain't dry yet. And this is an interesting paint right here. I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about it. Let's see it from this angle. I'll know better once it dries all the way up. It don't like to stick to the bare metal very much, but I think that has to do with just how much shit's in there. And also, well, anyway, they're bushing shackles, folks. They look great. So that's this much done so far. I've got 2 more big rods to clean up. And the knuckles still, which the knuckles are going to be a bastard. I already had a little mistake here. Busted that off. That sucks. I'm just going to leave them in there for the cleanup process before I find out if I can get more bump stops. But these rods, let's get them all cleaned up. They sure is nasty. Let's fix that. Wow, that looks a lot better, don't it, folks? I got that all apart and good and cleaned up. I still have the brackets to clean up, but they're going to be a more complicated process, as is the lower control arms. But as y'all can see, the sun is going down in Funky Town, so we got to call it somewhere. But that's some shiny looking stuff, and that looked like the Crypt Keeper before. So I expect my client will be pretty happy to see that get unloaded out of the car. The strut rods are marked. The yellow tipped one is the left one, and the white tipped one is the right one. I know that for certain, now that we had one marked. So I'm going to say that on video so I can remember it if I forget. I did the little end pieces in the bright. Those are the shackles for the other end in the black. As you see, I don't like the same color on any 2 things anywhere. So that's looking hot, hot, hot. So today was just a hell of a lot of fun, folks. No 2 bones about it. Doing the lower bushings on this Toyota truck. And it says just cut off the bushing. Rubber is shown in the figure. Okay, we did that. And then using the SST tool, remove the bushing. Yeah, okay, it's a relatively simple tool, folks. Where the hell do you get your hands on one this year? You don't. I can get all sorts of things all around it, but not that. So, I had to invent my own SST tool, which worked great. I was able to push it out with the thread rod, but what I ended up with was the core and the steel insert out. To get this out, required that guy and that guy, and all the hand strength I got to the point I am done for the day. But that's out of that hole. I should be able to clean that hole up, no problem, and install the new bushing, no problem. I may go buy an air hammer to do the other side. We'll see. Folks, don't let your babies grow up to be mechanics. I just love to do it the hard way. I mean, if a thing's worth doing, why don't we just do it the hard way? What we got here is 1987 Toyota upper control arm. And we got the friggin' bushings out of that. We got that bushing out of that. Folks, that's married. I'm out of propane. Yeah, so what do? That. Oh, look. One just like it left to go. But no real damage to it. A couple of skid marks. Clean that up with my file. Gonna hit it with the wire brush tonight and give them a coat of paint so that they'll be ready to install tomorrow. Holy crap, folks. Doing it the hard way. Second verse, same as the first. Hopefully not a whole lot worse. We're gonna try to beat this one up a little damn less than the last one. We'll see. Didn't hurt the other one or anything. I mean, I'm gonna refinish it and all, but mayhem. Beat shit out of. That's what we do here sometimes. So we've got our pickle fork installed in that. We've got a big drilling hammer. So there's nothing to it but to do it a whole bunch of times. All right, well, there's the bushings out of that mess. Thank goodness. This side was quite a bit easier than the other one. I had those out 15 minutes as opposed to like an hour. And it still didn't want to come out easy though, bastards. So now we get to take the wire wheel and the air tool to it and piss off the whole neighborhood in the dark. Don't worry, folks, it's like 6 o'clock. We're up here at the North Pole, so everybody can get ready for the noise factor. Anyway, wow, with the brush for, I don't know, forever. And I might be able to shoot them with a shot of paint tonight. Have everything ready to go. My forearms are just spectacular, folks. All right, well, I got this thing cleaned up about as far as I'm going to. I mean, there's still some pockets up in there that are not as clean as I'd like, but I'm not going to worry about finishing those. We're going with a black anyway. I do want to hit this rust. Wire wheeled that up real good with the old air contraption I got there. That's kind of my buddy now for doing this stuff. That, and brake clean, and mineral spirits, and hard work, and a brush. So, looking grubby, but looking ready to paint. So what we're going to paint it with? Sparkly. I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's sparkles in it. Looking awesome. So let's get this shook up and sprayed on. Okay, this is so not going to show the way it really is at night while it's wet. It's on there a lot thicker than it probably looks like too at night when it's wet. That stuff's pretty neat though. It has a rough texture and like glitter to it. So that's pretty freaking cool. Yes, I think it looks like crap through the phone. In person, it's pretty interesting, especially as it dries. Now, it's a splattery fucking mess to work with. I'm going to give it a minute to cure for a second before I do anything else with it. But it's a neat finish for the part. Again, I know y'all can't see it the way it really is. But nifty, thrifty. Ain't thin, it's reflections. There's a second one cleaned up, and this one required a whole lot more file work, as this is the one that got beat up so bad getting it out. But no problem, she's nice and clean. Underside too, same kind of deal. Had to work the hell out of it. That's okay, there's no more burrs on any of that, and we're going to get that finish on it. Now, this is starting to set up into the finish, where you can actually see what it's going to look like, kind of. There's wetter and drier spots. But that stuff paints real fast, real thick, and it's textury. I'll see. It's still an experimental coating for me, but I mean, as compared to that, yeah, it looks great. So, that certainly ain't dry yet. Anywho, let's paint this one, get it looking nice. Well, there's them both painted up. And again, it looks way different in person than it does in this camera. Looks freaking great, hides everything. And this camera looks like shit. Soaking wet is why it's so highly reflective. They're just like a mother load of solvent in that paint. So as you see, it blows everywhere. Hard to control, real super thin stuff. Doesn't want to stick to bare metal, but it eventually does. And the result when it dries off is a mattish, sparkly textured, neat, like patio furniture kind of texture. So that's cool as hell. Of course, I got everything wiped out inside the holes where those go. So that leaves one more piece to deal with tonight, which is going to be super easy comparatively, which is the anti-sway bar. Might not have to get the Ziz wheel out on it too much. Down to the last pieces to prep tonight. We got ourselves a super scabby anti-sway bar and anti-sway bar brackets. I say that. There's like the slightest bit of surface corrosion on it, and it's just covered in filth. So I'm going to scrub that up real quick and get a shot of paint on that, and then get my things put away. And it's a little late, but not too bad. But I need to finish running this noisy bastard before we get much later. I mean, you know, I'm sure everybody in the town loves that, but not that late. Anyway, let's finish it. Let's come out here to Willie's Magic Shed and watch some paint dry. So we've got our anti-sway bar in a bright aluminum. That's nice and shiny. It's going to be highly visible under there. Got my sway bar bushing rods. Whatever you want to call that. They're gold. Got our control arms are a speckled metallic black finish. Really cool. That's going to look neat. And we got our sway bar bushing brackets are in hammered silver. So all this looks super duper cool and neat. I'm excited for what this is going to look like on the truck. Altogether, it's going to have that cyborg look, that style that I've been going for developing.